Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To some and peace out to the rest of you Blackheart. Signing Black in again, asking you to hit that share button. Thank you if you've hit share or like or subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. I mean that from the bottom of my black heart. But look, let me get straight to this. Okay, here's the deal. Rusty Balls got a video out that y'all need to hear. Why women give men advice that makes them even less desirable. Brackets, hint, colon, it's on purpose, close brackets. You need to see that video. Came out about a day ago, or about a day and a half ago, I think. It's dated on the 20th. It's the 22nd as I'm recording this in the afternoon, my time, early morning for many of you. Why does this video only have 58 views? What the F is wrong with y'all? This video should have as many views as the other one. He has one called My Response to Derrick Jackson's Denial of Women Choosing Bad Guys Over Good Guys. That has 232 views in a week. But it's got Derrick Jackson's name in it, which it should have because he's addressing the man. But he's got that many views because he has Derrick Jackson's name. Without him putting a celebrity's name, he should have that many views on this other video. This is the kind of video that we need to listen to. Tell the young bloods what's in it, even though we can't, maybe according to the COPA laws, you may not be able to show it to them. Maybe not. But we need to be able to say, listen, digest, and say back what it is to these young bloods in the family. Because he set up and gave the game again. He explained there's a woman that likes thugs, and she said she does, and she's raising her son to be a gentleman, even though she knows that's not what the majority of women want. Now, how do you know that a lot of women want thugs? Well, you got enough of them admitting, I want a thug, I don't want no nerd. That's because that's fashionable, because women don't admit to things that are not fashionable socially. So socially, they're pressured to go with thugs, even if that isn't what they want. Even if their better sense tells them not to do that, they can brag about that to their friends. You understand? Women turn down men that they like a lot of times because their friends won't approve. I know. They admitted it to me that that's what happened in many cases. I grew up thinking I'm just not select, even though I didn't know the term select and non-select. I grew up with the impression I'm just not select. Turns out, in actuality, I just wasn't something they could show off to their friends because of the stigma against interracial dating at the time. So he's sitting up and saying women give men advice, even their own sons, and this is proof. Did I not say this before? Did I not tell you this? Now someone else is saying it. Y'all need to hear this, and you need to tell these young bloods. You don't just tell them Blackheart said it. No. Tell them Blackheart and Rusty Balls said it, and look at the reference that Rusty Balls made. This is necessary. Now, Rusty Balls brought up the reason that these women will do this, give men advice, say things like it's okay to cry, even though it's not okay to cry in front of them. He explained that one of the reasons these women will say this sort of thing, even though it's not okay for them to cry, it's because with anything else that they tell you that it's okay to do when it's not, and they don't like you for it, is because women have multiple uses for men. I don't agree with the statement that men have no use for a woman if they don't find her sexually attractive. There are other uses. Some of them are excellent proofreaders, typists. Some of them fix things. That the women do have various skills, and they're good at them when they develop them and practice them like anyone else. However, nonetheless, he's right about something else, even to the point that even I would agree. Here's what he's right about. He's right about this. When men are sexually unattractive, they still have other skills and women need them. I just don't give a rat's ass that that's the reason why women are doing this. I don't care. I don't give a rat's behind, because women will tell a man to do stuff that makes him unattractive to not only her, but to women in general. And she'll lie about what women want. And the next one will lie about what women want. And the next one will lie about what women want. So various individual women will lie about what the collective women want. So they're playing the same game with a hive mind, and they didn't have to have a meeting anywhere in order to do this. They just all agreed without having a conference that they were going to do this. Now, what the hell is that? Is that nature or nurture? I don't care which one. We don't have to tolerate it. And we don't have to let them pull this off on the younger generation of guys coming up. We're not required to be patient with this stuff so that they can be lazy, stupid, or dishonest. Likewise, they don't have to be patient with us being lazy or stupid or dishonest. The difference is that they're really not that way. So we don't have to tell them that. We got to tell brothers this. You're not required to be patient so that they can be lazy and dishonest and stupid, deceptive, disingenuous. No. So this being said, We need to share that video with the adults in our lives that we know, but we also need to let these young bloods know. And tell your family, don't say nothing to me about so-called brainwashing. I'm going to tell him. He'll get old enough and decide for himself one day if I'm right or wrong. But I'm telling him right now so at least he knows to consider the information. Now, if I'm wrong, you, auntie, you, his mother, you, his grandmother, you, my sister, can prove me wrong. But you can't silence me just like I can't silence you. And it's actually important that we don't do this. If you want to tell him what you want to tell him, it's important that you tell him that. Because if you can tell him but you can't show him, then he can say, oh, okay, so she lied and uncle told me the truth. And if you can prove it, then you can say, wait a minute, she proved this to be the case. So my uncle may be right about these other ones over here, but at least not about my own mother or grandmother or aunt. Okay, great. Or my older sister. Okay, great. Now the kid has a reason to have some faith, at least in the women that are in the family. But the truth is going to come out in the wash. That's real. Is the dye permanent or is it superficial? It's going to come out in the wash. But I'm going to say this too, that we need to let these brothers know, yeah, these women have reasons for doing it. And that's why they'll take the men that, even though they're decreasing the number of men that are attractive to them, they're taking these men, the other men, and they're saying, well, he's good to fix my fridge, so I don't have to pay a real mechanic. Well, he's good to pick stuff up from the cleaners when it's cold outside and I don't want to go to the cleaners myself and do it. Well, he's good for when I need to shoulder the crime because I can't stop messing with this other guy that can't commit. Well, he'll make me feel good about myself even when I do and say dumb stuff. You see? You understand? You get it now. But we also need to tell these young brothers, know the reason, but don't accept it as valid. So what that this is her reason? It's not an excuse. It's just her rationale. You don't have to tolerate that because you don't have to be used. Especially if you were raised to not use women, then damn it, don't you be used by them. Understand, young brother, she has a pussy price and she's letting somebody else hit the pussy without paying the price. Then she's coming to you to pay the price. He's at the restaurant eating for free and the restaurant is presenting you with the bill. That's what's going on now. Sometimes these guys know that someone else is being presented with the bill and they gloat. Other times they don't know. Most of the times they don't really even know that someone else is being presented with the bill. They're not aware of that. So they don't mean you any harm. They're just eating for free. They think they found a free meal. But eventually, now if this video gets out, then more and more men are going to know, no, see, she was letting you hit that for free. She was presenting somebody else with the bill. And that separates those guys into two camps. The ones that say, well, if she's using other dudes, then I should go ahead and let these dudes know they're being used. And the other ones who say, man, I ain't got to tell that nigga nothing. I'm just tearing that punani up. He gonna marry, he gonna wife her up, great. Raise my kids too, great. Then I'll show up when they grown and act like, yeah, look at my kids. No, see, that separates these dudes. This is necessary. It's got to be done. Because at the end of the day, the thing has to be understood is that, like I said, you men are not required to be patient so that they can be not only stupid and lazy, but also deceptive and trifling and scandalous. This is not your job. You don't owe this to them. This is an environment in which they're always talking about what they don't owe you and what you owe them. Them two are mutually exclusive. I owe you, but you don't owe me. We have not sent the message to them collectively that there is no I owe you, but you don't owe me. Because we haven't even sent it to the young ones. And it's too late for us to send that message. Our generation's jacked up. If we send this message to the young bloods, they will understand at an earlier age they need to bounce. And when enough of them bounce, and there's very few of them left, and the only ones that are left are the ones who couldn't get out, then that's when these ladies going to understand. And even then, it's not about them understanding. It's about young bloods not being used. And I'm saying this as a father of two daughters. I'm teaching my daughters the right way, and my daughters understand, especially the older one, understands that this feminism stuff is going too far, that men and women ain't supposed to be the exact same. I don't want her to have a hard time finding a good man, but you know what? Even she may have to suffer for a few years. And even then, when she says, look, Dad, I'm looking for a husband, I can't find one, I'm going to say to her, there are other countries. And when she says to me, yeah, but I don't want a foreign man, I'm going to say to her, then you don't need a man at all. You don't need one. If you think that your passport and your nationality makes you above every other man in the world, you don't need a husband. because it's the wrong kind of hypergamy. Now, if the man is going to pay the cost, he's going to be the boss. If he's going to be the boss, you have every right to make him pay the cost. But you're not going to have these men paying the cost and you turn around and tell them they ain't the boss. That's not going to happen. If this is what I got to say to my own daughters, so be it. I'm telling you this even though I've got 2 daughters and 1 son. Because it is not really my daughters that are being set up to be used and abused. It is my son who's been given that message by the society. It is your son, your younger brother, your nephew. You were at that point one time, if you're young enough. It was not your sister. It was not your daughter. They weren't told to accept being used and abused. They were simply told that this guy over here is fine and all the other women want him, so you better take what you can get from him. That's what they were told. They weren't told you got to take this from every man. They were just told, they weren't even told per se outright, well, he's attractive, so he's going to treat you this way because he can, because you let him. This is the message that they got to hear. But they're not told that you got to take this from every man. There are a whole bunch of men out there women don't tolerate anything from, except taken from them and not given anything in exchange. There are a bunch of men like that. Yes, you can fix my fridge. Yes, you can fix my TV. Yes, you can come pick me up when I'm stranded somewhere late at night. You can change my tire. You can do all these things for me, but you can't ask me for even so much as a hand job in exchange. You see, the message has not been sent to these ladies that, look, you're using this guy for sex. You should use him for the other stuff too. I'm glad Rusty Ball said this. Now we know we have to send this message to the women in general. You use these guys for sex, that's okay. Use them for the other stuff. You not use us for everything but sex and then use them just for sex. That's an insult to us. That's not a slap in the face. That's a slap in the testes. And you don't do that. That's how but you got to know what's in their mind to send them the right message. And he just explained what's in their mind. I'm going to use this guy the way that nobody wants to be used, in a way I would not accept being used, and I'm going to use this other guy in a way that's completely convenient for him, and he'll pay none of the price. I'm not free for everybody, but I'm going to skew it. He pays so that he can play. Actually, these many are going to pay so that these few can play. I'm going to up my price to do what I want to do anyway with who I want to do it, and make the ones I don't want to do it with pay. That's what they're doing. Now you know that this is what they're doing. Now you can sit up and say, hold up, you know what? You ain't doing this. And matter of fact, go ahead and teach your younger sister that game if you want to, because I'm teaching my younger brother, my younger cousin, my son. I'm teaching the young bloods in my family what the game is. When you try that stuff on them, they're going to see it for what it is and step aside. I hope that this won't be true one day in the future. In the meantime, until that day, I hope that what I said is a benefit. Thank you for listening. Blackheart, signing Black out. Assalamu alaikum, and just because them crackers don't like it, black male power.